All right, we got good news on Max Muncy. Is it good news? Is it the truth? Let's talk about it on All Dodgers.
Oh, we got news, Jeff. We got news. I don't
We
know
got
where I'm at
news.
on it.
Yeah, it's if the news is true, which unfortunately that's something we have to say all the time these
Kind of.
days in every aspect of life. If the news is true, this is good news.
Yeah.
Uh, Dodgers say Max Muncy has a bone bruise.
Simple, easy, to the point. Let's get the tweets. There's a whole bunch of them up there. Of course, Dodgers made a move today, bringing up minor league outfielder, one-time AL stolen base leader, Estuary Ruiz, and Max Muncy, of course, placed on the injured list with a bone bruise. Looking at that play last night, it didn't scream bone bruise to me. Couldn't put any weight on it. Maybe he was just scared. Of course, there's more to come out. This is literally just breaking a few minutes ago. But if it's this, if it's a bone bruise, my God, did the Dodgers and Max dodge a bullet?
Yeah, and I mean, I guess to be fair, a bone bruise is not a minor thing. Bone bruises hurt a
Yeah.
lot and can take a long time to heal. And so, this the reason this is good news is because the alternative was a tear of some sort of CL, A or M or L or some CL tear.
Yeah, I would have
So
bet the house on A.
yeah, and I don't know the difference between A and M. So, but I was expecting a tear of some sort.
Yeah.
We knew that he was going to go on the injured list. There's no way when one night you can't put any weight on it that you're playing anytime in the next 10 days. And so made sense when the Dodgers announced when reporters announced that Estuary Ruiz was being called up because they're going to the IL. He makes sense. He's a guy who's on the 40-man roster, hasn't yet proven that he's going to strike out 90% of the time in the big leagues like some of the other guys on the 40-man roster. So bring up Ruiz very fast, see what he can do. So we didn't really learn anything from that. What we learned was that the Dodgers made the official announcement.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a lot of understandable skepticism about this announcement simply because what we hear about injuries doesn't always end up being the whole story.
Yeah, that's a great way of saying it. It's not the whole story. The Dodgers don't lie. They just don't tell you the entire truth.
Yeah,
Which is
and
fine. I think it's a
sometimes
HIPAA
that's
violation
because,
if they tell you
yeah,
more.
yeah, sometimes it's because they don't have the full information. When Dave Roberts says we're hoping that Tyler Glasnow's it's going to be a short stint on the IL, that's what he's hoping. He's telling you the truth, and it's like, well, we don't really know what's wrong with him, so we're hoping it's not for too long. And sometimes, if it's the postseason or whatever, they do deliberately withhold information so that you don't want the other team to know this relief pitcher is unavailable tonight. If you only have one lefty in the bullpen and you're facing a team with Juan Soto, you want them to think that lefty is available to face Juan Soto. I don't think that exact situation has happened, but there's plenty of reasons why you withhold information especially in a postseason series. This, though, the way this would be untrue is if the Dodgers were literally lying about the actual results of an actual MRI, which they've never done, and they're not allowed to do. To put somebody on the injured list, you have to have a diagnosis. And so the official diagnosis is a bone bruise. Now, yes, is it possible that Max Muncy has a bone bruise and a torn ACL? And they only told one? Yeah, that's possible. There would be no reason right now. I guess maybe negotiating leverage if you're going to try to trade for Alex Bregman or Nolan Arenado or name another third baseman who can get people angry in the chat.
No, people get somebody happy. J-Ram, give me Jose Ramirez. I talked about
Jose
that.
Ramirez.
Yeah. Talked about that on
But
Dodgers
it's not
territory.
like you're going to have more trade leverage because your third baseman's only out for a month or month and a half than if he's out for the season. There's no reason for them to only give part of the story. So the fact is, yes, the MRI showed a bone bruise. And
or at least that's all they're telling us up to this point.
I think it's safe to assume that as far as the Dodgers know right now, it's a bone bruise.
And Carlos had sent, I put it up on the screen already, the 199 Super Chat. Thank you very much. Carlos asking, is this a best case scenario? if it is just a bone bruise, my God, it is by far the best case scenario. The good thing about Max, I mean, we know he's like Texas boy, played football in his youth. He is a strong boy. He is a strong dude. He is well built. Maybe that knee is a little more flexible than most regular human knees. It doesn't look, looking at the replay, it doesn't look like it's supposed to go that way. But if there's somebody I could imagine somehow not tearing an ACL on that kind of tear, or that kind of angle, or whatever, that kind of bend, it could be somebody like Max Muncy. But this is me now trying to probably be positive about it. I still, I don't think we see him again this year, but that's just my feeling on it.
And the other thing to keep in mind is that there's probably swelling, which could obfuscate the results of an MRI or an X-ray or anything. I don't know exactly how that works. My only experience is when my son broke his arm, and they said, well, we can tell it's broken. We're not going to do an X-ray for 3 days when the swelling goes down. So let's put in a splint for now, and then we'll figure out exactly what we need to do in a few days when the swelling goes down. And so it's possible that Muncy has another MRI in 3 or 4 days that does show a tear, and that just didn't show up today because of the swelling. That's possible too. What I'm confident of, and what Michael in the chat accuses me of being naive as heck about, is that the Dodgers are not lying about the results of an MRI, because that's the kind of thing that actually gets general managers banned from baseball, things like that. They're not going to lie about the results of an MRI.
Yeah, it's not actively lying. That's the thing. And we, especially me, that we live in an overreaction era, phase of life, whatever you want to call it, and that is perfectly fine. I encourage it. I understand what people are trying to say. It's okay for people to feel and say and believe that the Dodgers are lying. It's technically inaccurate, but if we feel lied to, that is up to you, boo. Depends on how you want to take it, how you want to interpret it. They are not lying. It's like telling well, this is a bad one, but it's like, hey, boo, hey, significant other. Yeah, me and the boys just went and had beers tonight, but you left out the part where you went to the strip club to have those beers. It's not telling the full story. But
if you say we just went to have beers, that's a lie.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's a good way of saying it. Speaking of beers and lying and other things that have nothing to do with what we're talking about, I'm going to take a pause here real quick to tell you guys about Bet Online, because got to do that as part of the network and all that kind of stuff, and it helps keep us alive. But also we love Bet Online because it continues to be your number one source for all your sports betting action. With baseball in full swing, football season is around the corner. Bet Online has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting. From MLB, UFC, tennis, NFL futures, BetOnline remains your choice for sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline casino. They have all the top Vegas style games, including poker. There's a live casino there. Do check that out. Head to the website today. Take advantage of their industry leading VIP program. There's level up bonuses. There's weekly cash boosts, a bunch of cool stuff over at BetOnline. BetOnline, the game starts here. Now, where do we take the conversation from here? Because it feels like, at the bare minimum, Max Muncy is out for 10 days. They have some internal options. What else? Are you muted?
Sorry about that. I muted myself while you were talking about Bet Online. So, yeah, at the very least, he's out for at least a few weeks, even if it's just a bone bruise and all the other scans come back clean. Bone bruises hurt. They take a while. It's his plant leg when he's swinging. He's going to be out for a little while. And so now they do have to figure out who's playing third base. Today it's Miguel Rojas. I don't think they necessarily want Rojas playing every day, but you've got Rojas, you've got Kike Hernandez, you've got Tommy Edman. You have guys who have played some third base. I don't know if Kim has played much third base in the minor leagues.
Not too much, but he is around and is willing to learn.
He can play infield, and so they have options. It's interesting that they did call up an outfielder. But even that, like with Ruiz, that might have just been a get us through today move. It might have been, we know that Muncy's going on the IL. We don't know why, how long he's going to be out. And so let's call up Ruiz. He's on the 40-man roster. It doesn't hurt anything. And for tonight, he can be depth, and maybe maybe they send him down tomorrow and call up Alex Freeland. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. It would make a little bit of sense, more than a little bit of sense, to give Alex Freeland a chance here. We're at July 3rd. Give him a chance for a few weeks before the trade deadline to say, hey, I want to be a big leaguer, and give him that chance. I don't know if he's ready for the big leagues or not, but neither do the Dodgers. Nobody knows until he actually comes up and tries. He's played pretty well at AAA, and so, but he's not on the 40-man roster.
Yeah, that's a big thing working against him, but also the fact that I don't think they go that route, because I think if they do it too early, it's kind of burning you're playing your hand early leading into the trade deadline or whatever. I think it could be more of a Freeland move after trade deadline, or maybe like a week before, if they don't feel confident that they can make a move. I think either way they still need to make a move for an infielder, and not the one that they did today, making a trade from or claiming infielder CJ Alexander, whatever that is, from the Yankees. I don't know what a Stuart Baroa was. I didn't even know we had him on the roster, but thanks for stopping by.
Do you not follow the Dodgers? Do you want to go host the postcast on my old network? Anyway, that was an interesting move, because Stuart Baroa was playing better at AAA than CJ Alexander this year, but also Baroa is an outfielder and Alexander's an infielder. It could be, somebody in my Twitter said CJ Alexander is to replace Alex Freeland in AAA when Freeland comes up, which, maybe, I guess.
I mean, again, the Freeland option is an option for this team. I think right now they're going to stay in-house, like we've already kind of talked around. Dad Braves was asking, or mentioning, even with the Bone Brews, are we feeling good about the third base options, the current options? Muncy's going to be out at least a month. I feel pretty strongly, if it is the best case scenario, we're looking at least a month, and you don't know how long it's going to take him to ramp back up into being good. We just got this. Also, Carlos' 199 Super Chat. Thank you very much, Carlos, with the message from Dave Vassay. Says he'll be out for 6 weeks.
6 weeks is right there in that sweet spot, because that's mid-August, which is technically enough time for him to get back, get his feet under him. But that's if it's really 6 weeks, and is that 6 weeks until he's ready to play again, and then he has a rehab stint? There's a lot of questions there, because if 6 weeks turns into 8 weeks and then plus rehab, suddenly you're into September. And I joked last night with Kevin when we were watching the game together that at least this happened in July, not in what was it, early October, like in 2021 when Muncy went down. Mm-hmm. So that now, partly because Muncy had time to return, but also it happened before the trade deadline. So the Dodgers can assess what they have, what they need. And the fact is, they know what Miguel Rojas is. They know what Kike Hernandez is. I think it does make sense to give Alex Freeland a shot so that they know what they have in him before the trade deadline, because I don't know which third basemen are going to be on the market. And that's probably, like, specific names are probably a topic for a different show.
Fair.
But if they are looking to trade for a third baseman, that's probably going to come after they know whether or not they need to trade for a third baseman. Because if Alex Freeland comes up and can play, maybe they don't need to make a trade.
For what it's worth, we talked about this a little bit earlier on Dodgers territory. I'm just going to put it up because I have the graphic made here. I don't know why it's showing the small version of it, but of course you have your Nolan Arenados, which everybody immediately went to. Bregman could be somebody that Boston could look to move when he comes back from the IL. I don't think Riley McMahon or Suarez are options. The guy I would love, and I would love for this year and beyond, is that Jose Ramirez. Do you feel they stay internal, or could there be some sort of crazy scenario where they, Andrew Friedman and company just piles up a haul of 5 prospects and some cash or whatever and sends it over to Cleveland, who they're teetering.
So Cleveland's out of contention in the Central, 4 games out of the wild card.
And he for Dodgers wise, that we talked about it earlier, it's a reasonable contract, $21 million next year. I think it was like 23 in 2027, and then $25 million. Yeah, so it's like Dodgers can very much eat that. They need a third baseman And again, I agree with what you said. We should talk about this, bigger or better, more bigger and more better in a different show. But figuring right now, just having the fun of making sure I keep putting. This is me pushing J-Ram into everybody, into the zeitgeist.
I am 1,000% on board with Jose Ramirez. I think the Dodgers have some guys who need to be traded. Hunter Fiducia needs to be traded. It's not fair to him,
Facts.
to spend much more time in the Dodgers organization. James Outman probably needs to be traded because despite your nickname for him, he's probably not going to contribute to this Dodgers team. They have guys who need to be traded. They also have a lot of trade chips who, while they don't necessarily need to trade them, could entice a team like Cleveland, especially if Cleveland's like, okay, well, 2 years left on Jose. He's getting a little older, getting a little more expensive. Let's cut the cost. I'm 1,000% on board. I think Jose Ramirez, the one thing that he has done forever and ever for his entire career is hit the crap out of the ball.
Yeah.
He's a switch hitter. He doesn't strike out much. He steals bases. He's everything you could want in a player. And like you said, only 2.5 more years under contract, right? Or 3.5. 3.5.
3 plus
years.
This year, so whatever.
Yeah. So he'll be 35. I mean, he's still relatively young. 1,000% on board. And that one wouldn't have, like, Nolan Arenado, there's going to be people upset about the contract. There's going to be people upset about the fact that he's not very good anymore. That's going to upset people. Alex Bregman, there's the obvious reasons people would be upset about Alex Bregman, and there's the fact that he's currently hurt. So hey, can we get your hurt third baseman to replace our hurt third baseman? Jose Ramirez, there is nothing to not like about that deal.
Yeah, there's a future there.
Yeah, the worst thing would be somebody would be upset about some specific prospect, whether it's, Alex Freeland or whoever, some pitching prospect, whoever they give up to get.
Yeah, Zaire Hope. It would have to be top tier talent for sure. Yeah. It'll be expensive, but how many, who's the kid they got for Gavin Lux as well? He's Mike Sirota. He's tearing the cover out the ball as well. I think he just made it up to Double-A, or he's real close to reaching Double-A. But he's also like, they don't need a bunch of talent at Double-A and Single-A, High A, or whatever. They need talent now. This is a team that's trying to win this World Series. They need to try to go back to back. And even if Muncy does come back in the month or in the 6 weeks, and again, I had put the latest the tweet up there from Dodgers Insider. Possibly the best case scenario, no structural damage in there. So if they're saying now no structural damage, and there's a clip that Rowan Kavner had posted, I got to listen to that at some point after this. But there is no structural damage. Again, Dodgers dodge a bullet, Max Muncy dodges a bullet, but it's still. Now I'm already. I put the flavor of J-Ram in my mouth, which is a weird thing to say, but I chose to say that.
Do you want to try that again or no? You happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
All right, sweet. Should we put on a T-shirt? Clint wants the flavor of J-Ram in his mouth.
Check it out, alldodgershop.org. It doesn't exist, but now I'm thinking about the future, and I understand that Max also, he's fine playing a bench role. You need a lefty slugger off the bench. I guess I don't need to worry about 26 and 27, but I started thinking about J-Ram, and that's the same way if I want a PlayStation 5. Oh, I'm going to go get it. The Dodgers can go get J-Ram if they wanted him, and I worry about Muncy.
Ramirez. The other thing about Ramirez is he's not just a third base. He's also played second base in his career. And so even if you do go after a big name third baseman later and you shift Ramirez, he's got some positional flexibility. I put it on a T-shirt, sign me up, whatever it is.
Put J-Ram in my mouth 2025. I think what we're going for. I'm sorry, everybody.
Hashtag free J-Ram.
Hashtag free J-Ram. That's one we can get behind. $1.99 from Ray Renz. Appreciate you hanging out with us in the chat, saying, I'm just hoping for a serviceable stopgap at third. And I understand that kind of thought process of it. But again, these are the Los Angeles Dodgers. This is the 2025 Dodgers. This is a team that is built to win, that expects to win, that needs to go back-to-back this year. And they're not going to do it with a serviceable stopgap. And if they want a serviceable stopgap, assuming Max Muncy is coming back and being healthy and being effective by September, then you already have those in-house with Kike Hernandez, Miguel Rojas, and maybe Alex Freeland making his Major League debut.
Yeah, if they go get J-Ram and then Muncy comes back and he's replacing Michael Conforto on the roster, or somebody at the bottom roster, and then they figure out positions afterwards. Figure that out. There's worse things. My concern when it comes to Muncy is we've seen in the past he's very much a rhythm guy, getting in sync, getting it going, and so if he's out for 6 weeks, I don't know how long it's going to take him when he comes back to get the, as Barry Manilow would say, trying to get the feeling again. I'm going to see Barry Manilow in 11 days.
Are you sure you don't want to take that one back?
It'll be my third time, and my wife asked me who I'm taking, so she's not excited about it. But I tell you what, I sure am. But yeah, Muncy spends a lot of time up, down, trying to get the feeling again, all around, trying to get the feeling again. It seemed to disappear as fast as it came, as Barry Manilow said. You want the whole song? I'll give it to you. And so, like, just getting a stopgap, and then Muncy comes back, and what if he's cold?
Yeah,
and that coldness lasts through October. That's the concern when it comes to a Muncy injury. Is it's not just the time he's out, is what's he going to be like when he comes back in the short term.
Yeah, but let's bring it back to reality.
Hey, Coward, put David Roz's comment on the screen. Love Barry Manilow. Yeah, man.
Is that better? Does that help?
Hey, Diane. Barry lives in Palm Springs by you, Diane. You should love Barry.
Don't admit that to Jeff. To get this back on track and hit the wrap it up button, because there's not much more we could say about this. Now, come snapping back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity, all that kind of stuff. Let me know when you're going to go see.
Vomit on my sweater already.
Oh yeah, let me know when you're going to go see Eminem. The hope is, we're thankful that Max Muncy has apparently no structural damage in the knee. We love Max Muncy. He has been kind of the heartbeat for this team for the last month. Him and Andy Pajes, if those dudes aren't going, the Dodgers don't have a 7-game lead or whatever it is in the National League West. Those two almost specifically have probably helped them gain 5 games in the standings or whatever. And I don't have no math to show my work, or I'm not going to show my work with no math or whatever. You hope he can come back. You hope it is only a 6-week stint. Hopefully he's able to come back, play third, feel good about himself, not feel any restrictions, and hopefully that good feeling he had in his head, which he's been more vocal about, it wasn't really so much the glasses. He found something in the swing that he's been missing since coming back from that elbow injury that you mentioned, which happened on the final regular season game of the 2021
Thanks,
season.
Jace Peterson.
How devastating that was.
Jace Peterson and Michael A. Taylor are like blood brothers now, the people who destroy Max Muncy's joints.
But the hope is this team is better when Max Muncy is in it and doing damage to baseballs. And I will, as much as I love the idea of J-Ram, I'm a homer, and Max is nice to me, and I have his wine behind me. Well, it's not his wine, but they just put his likeness on a label. He's a nice dude. He knows my name. I would love for him to be healthy and in this lineup, but I also got to at some point look into the future, and Cleveland is bad, J-Ram is good, and that's the end of my diatribe.
And guess what? J-Ram's also played some left field in his life.
Please
in the major leagues.
Please
and
no.
so I'm just saying, if you go get J-Ram and Muncy comes back and he's beast mode Muncy, there's worse problems than having too many good hitters in your lineup. You know? You'll find a place for both of them. Hey, tell your clients to text me, Diane. I want to be good friends with Barry Manilow.
All of a sudden, now we have common ground. Andre wants to see Alex Freeland get the shot.
Yeah, I will tell you, Clint. The first gift I ever gave my wife was a burned copy of an Eminem CD. So
cheap ass.
Hey, I had it. She didn't. So I burned her a copy,
Well, but that's
I don't know if that gives me enough street cred to make up for the fact that the first thing my wife and I ever bonded over was the fact that we had the same Backstreet Boys poster on our wall. So
we're learning a lot about each other in these early all Dodgers with Clint and Jeff shows. You're learning I love the flavor of Jose Ramirez, and I'm learning
I like Barry Manilow and Backstreet Boys, and a lot of other things that a lot of guys of my general description don't care much for.
Other than all of that, guys, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Hopefully you enjoyed the weird through the good and the important part of this news. Dodgers again, dodge a bullet. Hopefully Max is back, but still they should be active, looking for some sort of, even if it is a stopgap, like we said, looking for some sort of just in case. You need a break in case of emergency, and I don't know that I feel comfortable with Alex Freeland be the break in case of emergency if Max doesn't pan out, and then it's just Kike and Miggy Rowe and Freeland for the postseason, because that to me is not a championship caliber amount of even though Kike is a different man in the postseason. That's you need one more piece.
But also early July is the time you give Alex Freeland a chance to prove you wrong.
That's fair. Well, we'll see what happens, guys. But besides that, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We will be live the next time we are live. I don't know what we're doing tomorrow because it's 4th of July, so probably not doing anything. I will definitely be live on Saturday for the spicy All Dodgers show.
All Dodgers After Dark.
All Dodgers After Dark, but in the morning with coffee and other things. So tune into that. That should be 11 a.m. Pacific time here on the YouTube. What else? Check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/RealFRG, or click the join button here on the YouTube. With that, if you pay the $5 tier, you get access to our Discord server where we're probably going to continue talking about this injury right after we sign up. And again, we thank you guys for watching. This show is available in podcast platform. Go subscribe to us there. Rate the shows, review the shows. That really does help us out a whole bunch too. And beyond that, if you can't do any of the other things, you're here already. Like it, subscribe, share with your grandmother's cat. They love the Dodgers. And we'll see you on the next one of these. Bye.
Bye.